In the south of Belgium, an hour from the capital of Brussels, French-speaking market towns colour the countryside, from Poix-Chapelle to Saint-Fontaine, from Chimay to Philippeville. But in the centre of them all, just outside the town of Couvin, lies X30 Final in Mariembourg, one of the trickiest and toughest circuits in this part of the world, and definitely very different to the first round of the IAME X30 Euro Series held in Spain 2 months ago. There, it was hot, fast and fluid. Things are very different here in Belgium, as the circuit is more slippery, more technical and definitely more challenging. There are fewer overtaking opportunities and much more demands on the drivers in terms of tyre management, because even though the circuit is cooler, the circuit itself is actually greasier, which means that the tyre management is even more important here than it was in Spain. The X30 Final circuit is essentially split into two halves, the first sector being fast, fluid and rapid, with very long apexes and particular high speeds going through to the middle of the corner. But with big stopping distances, drivers still have to be alert as they try to defend and attack in the same breath. Once you get to the end of the first sector, the circuit changes character completely as it becomes tight, twisty and technical, with big stops on the brakes and big changes in directions from left to right chicanes. It means that defence is actually one of the key strategic factors and elements on this particular circuit. So drivers have to be as aware of their surroundings as they do the stopping distances heading into corners. It means essentially that drivers have to be looking in multiple directions over the course of a lap. You don't have a lot of time to relax, and mistakes here can be incredibly costly. It essentially means that teams will be going for short sprockets and decent trajectory in the steering, which is obviously a bit of a technical challenge for the mechanics, because every single race could be plagued by weather changes. From one heat to the next, drivers may not know whether they should be on slick tyres or wets, and that means they'll have to be just as diverse and adaptable as the race weekend develops. But with 180 drivers gathered from all four corners of Europe, and sometimes even further afield, all three classes, Mini, Junior and Senior X30, are well represented, and it will be incredibly competitive right from the start. Like last time, we won't really know who the winner is going to be until they cross the finish line at the end of the final on Sunday. Now here at Mariembourg, it's obviously a circuit that tends to have a lot of changing weather conditions on a layout which is kind of in two halves anyway, very fast at the start, and then it tightens up.
Yeah, it's very technical here. I think you have to run quite small on the sprocket if you want sector 1 to look good, and then you've got to be really tidy in the infield in sector 3 to try and make sure that your minimum revs are high and that everything is good, so that you can do a really fast lap time.
Now, junior and senior drivers will talk a lot about tyre wear and tyre management. Is that something that becomes a bit of a factor as much within Mini, or is it a slightly different problem?
It kind of depends on the circuit. In Zuera, the tyre was massive. You have a peak for maybe 3 or 4 laps where the ultimate performance on new tyres is there, and then it starts to get slightly worse and then it plateaus. But I think here that the tyre situation isn't as bad for us. Second and third run, you can still be within a couple of tenths of new tyre.
And one of the toughest elements of the weekend for a Mini, of course, must be qualifying. How difficult is it to go through the motions of Thursday and Friday in the build-up to qualifying?
I think, you're trying to focus on two things. The quali pace is one thing and the race pace is another thing. Obviously, being as far up the grid, especially when it's so competitive, is really important. But I think you've got to try and look at the longer game as well, to try and make sure that you're still strong in the third heat, to get yourself a good position for the superheat at the end.
And of course, we come off the back of the first round of the championship where your driver, Macaulay Bishop, was able to go from dead last in the junior category to the front. What a satisfying way to start the relationship.
Yeah, he's been making a bit of a habit of that in the first 2 races in Europe, but hopefully this time we can start a bit nearer the front and make it a little bit easier for himself. But yeah, no, we was very happy with the Zuera result.
So tell us about the technical challenge of setting up the karts here, because obviously this is a racetrack of 2 halves in effect, the first part being quite fast and flowing and rapid, whereas you get the tough apexes and the tight braking zones and very slow corners of the second half.
Yeah, this is obviously notoriously a small sprocket track because you've got quite a long straight, but like you say, yeah, there's tighter corners and then there's faster corners, but the more aggressive drivers struggle around here, so then you've got to try and drum that into the drivers to try and get them to calm down and be as smooth as you can and then make the track flow as nicely as possible.
And how do you guys tend to approach qualifying?
Yeah, we have a plan. You know, it's all about that last lap really. So you've got to set yourself up in the first few laps to get the position right, ready for that last maybe two laps really. But the last lap's always the fastest. So you know, you need to make sure you're in the right position for them.
One of the interesting factors over the course of an IAME Euro Series weekend is of course tyre management. Every driver only has 4 tyres that they can look after until they get to the final when they can put a fresh set on. What are the challenges of helping a driver to learn about how to actually look after the tyres?
Yeah, well now with this yellow tyre this season and that, it's becoming a big thing in the senior thing, definitely. It's really important to manage your tyres, and you've got to really use the brake and be as calm and as smooth as possible, because you've got 5 heats and sort of the pre-final to do on the same set of tyres, and yeah, you need to manage them well.
So time for the Mini X30 final with over 40 drivers in the competition, and that means it's going to be just as ultra competitive as it was a few weeks ago in Zuera. But the circuit here at Karting de Fania being much more technical and more slippery, there's also going to be a higher likelihood for mistakes. But with the karts being slightly narrower and shorter in wheelbase, they've got a lot more racetrack to play with. That means that drivers will go for more moves than they probably would do in junior and senior. And with the title battle only just getting started, anything could happen. Several drivers have had their turn at the front, but with the pressure mounting and the races getting closer with every battle, we still have no idea who can hold it together for 13 laps of intense racing. Kitbolowski is not able to get away immediately, so an absolutely fuming Kitbolowski, the winner from the IAME Winter Cup, is already out. And we are racing to the first corner. Good start from the pole setup. No problem for Jensen Graham in turn 1. Domain is going to lose a couple of positions. He's down to 5th behind Aleman, but he's going to try and come round the outside to pick up a place or 2. 4th position is likely for Domain. He hangs it in behind Witkowski, and up the inside comes Bosco Arias. Arias gets through. Manu Miguez is trying to get past Domain as well, but Jesse Phillips is going to assist him to the apex. On the inside, Dan Aleman gets into the lead on lap 3. So Dan Aleman has got the Spirit Racing machine into first position. 2 or 3 karts going off the road there. One of them is Henry Carter. And I don't think he's the only one involved, but Luke Dahl's certainly out of the race as well. Here goes Domain into 4th position past Jesse Phillips. Now that's crucial, because that's going to buy Domain a couple more points. That could put him 3rd in the standings ahead of Dan Aleman. Henry Domain has got into 3rd. Domain has got into 3rd place at turn 1. And Jesse Phillips moves up past Witkowski into 4th position. Watch for Dan Kelleher. He's now going to come up to P5. This title fight just keeps getting better with every lap. Kelleher on the inside of Phillips. That's important for the title fight. Certainly for 3rd place. Domain has got pressure now from Kelleher, who dives on the inside. Takes 3rd position. Great move from Dan Kelleher. So down the main straight, Domain and Phillips are going to go side by side with Kelleher to the left. 1 lap to go. Domain into 3rd, Phillips into 4th, Kelleher 5th in front of Witkowski. Dan Aleman wins in Mariembourg. Victory for the Swiss, for Spirit Racing, for Dan Aleman. Excellent work. He takes the victory. Spirit Racing get their win in the 2022 season, the first of their campaign. Jensen Graham in 2nd, Henry Domain is 3rd, in front of Jesse Phillips, Anthony Witkowski and Dan Kelleher. Bosco Arias ahead of Denny Babacek from Maxim Bobadashov and Arthur Wang in the top 10. In 3rd position, representing the United Kingdom, Henry Domain. In 2nd position for the United Kingdom, Jensen Graham. But on the top step for Switzerland, Dan Aleman. Well, Dan Aleman, that was a long time coming, but a fantastic battle and a great victory. Just tell us how the race weekend and how the final has come to you this time.
I was good in qualifying, and that was a good weekend for me. I have a good chance to win, yes.
So obviously we have Castelletto and we have Genk coming up. Now you're in the fight for the championship. How do you feel about it?
Yes, Castelletto, I was last season good, but I can better this year.
Junior X30 action now, and after a fantastic performance in Zuera, Macaulay Bishop leads the way, having charged through from the very back of the grid in Spain. But the Dan Holland Racing Lando Norris kart chassis is going to have a tough job here in Mariembourg to keep that end of the grid. It's going to be a tough fight because you have teams from Victory Lane, Energy Course, Fusion and Falcon who have brought some very strong competitors here to Belgium. And the unpredictability of the weather means that it could be dry or it could be wet. Just when we think we know what the score is in Junior X30 here in Mariembourg, the dynamic changes again, and it now seems that we have a dozen drivers who could take the victory. Everybody has had a tough weekend out there, which means the winner of this final will truly have deserved every second of the glory. And this man, Jules Caranta, has a great chance to do it from pole position. What can he achieve? How far can he go? We're racing! Good start from Caranta. Perfect start from Sacha van Bad Bosch as well. A big problem into the first corner as several karts go together, and I'm afraid it's taken out about half a dozen drivers at least. Several karts involved in that one, I'm afraid. It's not the cleanest of starts through turn one at all. Robinson is involved in that one, so is Martin Yellow, Joey Brown, Ferrer, Pratt Thompson, Kushnini, Ubben, Cronin, Voss and Avril. So many drivers involved in that one. So Caranta, Van Bad Bosch and Ramakers are going to be left to battle for the victory. Van Bad Bosch and Ramakers both get past Jules Caranta. And there's a problem in the middle of the field for Andres Cardenas. Here we go for Thibaut Ramakers into turn one. He gets the move on Sacha van Bad Bosch. So the Belgian now goes to the top of the table. Oh, and two karts off the road. That is Devaney and Granada. Granada goes off the road and rejoins just in behind her countryman, Aaron Garcia. Here comes Jules Caranta. Caranta is going to get into second position now. This will tighten up the title battle even more, because Caranta's now going to gain another 4 points and take 4 away from Sacha van Bad Bosch. Here is the battle for fourth. This is Outram versus Clark. Clark's going to make the bid on the inside line into fourth position. Good work from the British driver. Thibaut Ramakers wins in Belgium! Magnifique! Superb from Thibaut Ramakers! The Belgian wins at home! And with that victory, he takes the lead of the AAMI Euro Series. Thibaut Ramakers takes the victory in the final on home soil ahead of Jules Caranta and Sacha van Bad Bosch. Clement Outram ahead of Cathal Clark and Noah Montero. Henry Jostin is 7th ahead of Patrice Kovalevsky, and rounding out the top 10, Macaulay Bishop and Raphael Theveney. In third position for the Netherlands, Sacha van Bad Bosch. And in second position for France, Jules Caranta. But your race winner here in 2022 for Belgium, Thibaut Ramakers. Thibaut, en français, just tell us how things have been over the weekend.
Je suis très heureux parce que la finale s'est bien commencé. Je fais un bon départ, je suis 3 et après je dépasse Caranta et Sacha. Et puis après je pars et je gagne.
Time for Senior X30, and here in Mariembourg things could be very interesting between the two Belgium home squads, VDK Racing and Eichmann's Grand Prix, especially considering that two of their drivers, Evan Gilter and Ellie Goldstein, have started to build a little bit of a rivalry over here, and that could spill over into the AAMI Euro Series. But with plenty of great talent on the grid, such as Danny Cadanini, Oliver Greenall, the TB Kart teammates Ariel Elkin and Eduardo Vila, and of course the Babic-Kova sisters hoping to continue adding silverware to their collection, it could be a very interesting weekend. The top three men have all come to blows over the heats and superheats in Senior X30. The podium finishers at Zuera have all found the going tough. The home advantage has evaporated for Paul Chaos, and the rivalry between Evan Gilter and Ellie Goldstein bubbled over in the heats after they collided. Now all three are set for a tough final as new challengers emerge to fight for the victory. Gilter is not going to be on the grid. Oh my word, the championship leader will not start the final. Let's race at Kartik Devanya. A perfect start from Ruben Moya. Ariel Elkin trying to get through into second position, and he's done so, and he's taken Oliver Greenall with him for third. As the field fights its way forward, a great scrap. And as they battle in position, there's a little bit of contretemps in the middle of the field. Couple of drivers going onto the grass, but out in front, Ruben Moya leads. Gabriel Stilp is the one at the back of the field, and Andy Rattel off the road as well. Greenall second, Elkin is third, and up the inside, there goes Yannis Steven Haydens, getting the move on Sam Balota, ahead of Poulain, Kalteren, Steenman and Tian. Luca Griggs is ahead of Ben Hovelak. Hovelak has made up a dozen places. Now up the inside, there goes Arthur Poulain, up in fifth place. Greenall gets through on Moya as there's problems further back. Two carts coming together, teammates coming together there. That's Ryby and McLaughlin. So Ryby and McLaughlin tangle, and the race continues on, but Steven Adams is now past Moya, as is Elkin, as is Oliver Greenall. Greenall is your leader, Elkin second, Steven Adams, Moya and Poulain. There is Moya holding on to fourth position. Here comes Steenman on the inside, gets into fourth position. Poulain trying to get through into fifth. He can't make it happen. Goldstein is going to try and get the run here. Here comes the leader, and it's going to change. Yannis Steven Adams gets past Greenall, but here comes Greenall back for more. Greenall goes very deep. Steven Adams lets him have it, gets back on the inside. Now Elkin gets through in a second as Greenall goes on the grass. Elkin into P2. Up into fifth place, by the way, has come Ellie Goldstein. Goldstein is now P5. What a comeback from the Belgian. Goldstein has seen a window of opportunity here. I can win this. In fourth position, Ellie Goldstein suddenly emerges as a contender for the victory. 10 laps to go, and with 7 done, he's going beautifully. Can he get onto the podium? And more importantly, can he get the win? Here comes Elkin on the inside line, dives in, Goldstein dives in as well. Third place for Goldstein. Game on. Goldstein knows he's got a chance here. Here he goes, second place, gets through on Steven Adams. Goldstein's going for glory. Goldstein goes for the lead, and Poulain goes for third. Goldstein gets the lead, Poulain gets third, and we've still got so much left to go in this race, but with 5 to go, Goldstein takes the lead. Ellie Goldstein! Ellie Goldstein does it! Elkin is second, and Arthur Poulain is third to take the lead of the Euro Series. Ellie Goldstein! What a victory! 17th on the grid, charges through to the win. Ellie Goldstein, superstar, magnifique, formidable. Ellie Goldstein takes the win in amazing fashion ahead of Ariel Elkin. Arthur Poulain is third. He takes the lead of the point standings. Yannis Steven Adams and Ruben Moya from Oliver Greenall and Luca Griggs. The top 10 is rounded out by Dan Steenman, Danny Caronini and Sam Balota. In third position for France, Arthur Poulain. And in second position for Israel, Ariel Elkin. And to the race winner, he gets to lift the trophy for Belgium, Ellie Goldstein. Wow, what a day. What a day to be in Belgium. What a day to get the victory in Senior X30, Ellie. That's probably the greatest drive from 17th on the grid to the win. Just tell us what's going through your head right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't realize. I don't know. It was like really close at the end, but I keep going, and starting 17 is not a problem. You can still win the race. And for all the people who don't trust in when you start in the middle field, you can win. You can.
Fantastic. And now, of course, we go to Castelletto. The title fight is on. You, Arthur and Evan are very close in the points. How do you think it's going to go?
It comes good in Castelletto for us. We are always fast there. And yeah, championship can now begin.
That's it from Mariembourg. It's been absolutely fantastic here at the IAME Euro Series. We get to do it all again in a few weeks' time as we head to the Siete Larghi circuit at Castelletto di Branduzzo in northern Italy. From myself, Jake Sanson, from everybody at RGMMC, from the boys on the podium, from everyone at Karting de Fagnes, merci beaucoup, à tout à l'heure!